right? Yeah.
That's good, man.
Indeed.
I told you it's good.
Thanks, man. I have a full-size acoustic, but I know they won't let me keep it here, you know.
What's that one called?
A guutalele.
Ukulele?
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah. Sounded good today. It doesn't always sound nice.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah, and that's just kind of like what today feels like. Oh yeah. It would sound much better on my normal guitar.
Nah, man, that sounds great.
Just improvising right now. But yeah, feel free to ask me anything, man.
Yeah.
People do all the time.
You want to start with like easy ones?
Sure. Anything, man.
What's your name and where you're from?
My name's DeVoe. I'm from Oceanside, California, but I've been here in Charleston like probably 10, 15 years now, off and on. Yeah.
And everyone calls you?
Mellow. Everybody calls me Mellow. I tell them my name at first wherever I go, but it always ends up being Mellow, so I just stick with that. Truly.
What's your favorite movie, song, or book?
All right. Well, favorite movie is definitely Labrynth with David Bowie.
Okay.
Between that and Dark Crystal. We say favorite movie, favorite song,
Or book.
or book. Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, the whole series.
That's a big series.
Yeah, it is. But it's great writing, and yeah, indeed, I do love to read, and they didn't over embellish with the powers and the world like Lord of the Rings and other series of the sorts. So
you're gonna make enemies fast.
I know, it's very divisive. Hot takes.
Favorite song?
Favorite song is a song called Patches, but I don't know who it's by. But it's the story of some guy, I guess some kid named Patches, leaving his town, and they're all telling him that he can do it. And yeah, it's just a very, very, very good song. Yeah.
What's your favorite childhood memory?
You know, I don't think I really have a favorite childhood memory. I spent a lot of time in books. So a lot of my childhood was a blur. But I think the favorite memory from, I guess, when I was younger was my first train ride and meeting a bunch of people, understanding train culture. You know, that was the first time that I hopped on a train and there was a bunch of people in a boxcar, you know, and a guy had bongos, this other guy was, on something. And then there was a guy about my age, and so I was just like, hey man, what are you doing? I was trying to catch it just down the road some, and here go a bunch of people, you know, and so I got this awesome story between, I don't know, 20 blocks, and then I just got off and went back to living my life, and I was 14, 15.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
What's the most beautiful thing in life?
This?
Music?
Yeah, no.
Or talking to people?
Yeah, speaking with people, being on the drift, so to speak, you know, as I like to call it. That's how I met Pops, you know, that's how I met you. I just came out here to be closer to the sun and away from those who would like to ask for more than they should, as it were. But in being out here, like him, what's up, dude? Yeah. He's awesome. I don't even remember his name, but I've spoken to him at least 4 or 5 times. He's really cool. And I'll remember him forever, you know? I'll remember all of you forever. And this is the best part. Like, I'm about to go to work from 3 to like 11, but before this I get to hang out with you guys and like, yeah. So this is the best part, you know, just speaking to people.
Just living in the moment.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And I haven't done much of that before this. I program and stuff like that. So, you know, it's very,
He's so intelligent.
you know, it's very different.
What?
Yeah.
So you program what?
Everything really.
Really?
Yeah, but programs like Windows, mainly web programs for PHP. So that'd be like programs like or web clients like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that. Lots of web languages, databases, MySQL, and stuff.
How'd you learn that?
Just doing it. Just taught myself. Yeah, it all makes sense. You know, it's just the only way that I can think to put it. There's like a computer in like 4th or 5th grade, and I think it was a Mac. I forget what type, but I remember it had the little blinking indicator where you could put some text, you know? And I sat there and pushed a bunch of buttons and nothing happened. And then I started typing words in there, just different words, and I typed help, and a whole list of commands came from there, and I just messed with all of them, saw what they did, and then from there it was just whatever computer I got a hold of, how do I do this, you know?
Crazy, man.
How do I tic-tac?
You tax him.
You don't meet people who are like super musically, like artistically inclined and like computer inclined. It kind of seems like different worlds.
Yeah.
Well, he's a chip off the old block.
Yeah.
A bit of a diamond in the rough.
Oh.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the worst time of year for living on the street?
I'm definitely going to say any holiday.
Yeah.
Any holiday, yeah. Because I don't even, like, it's just me and my mom. I'm an only child. And I get, like, the family woes and worries and such. Am I hitting it too much or something?
Nah, I think, give me one sec. All right, say something.
Anything.
One more
1,
time?
2, 3.
Okay, I think that's better. I think I had you mic'd up too much. So
It's
like,
cool.
Too sensitive.
Sorry, I got much
That
louder.
was my fault.
I
just want to make sure your audio quality's good.
It's fine, no worries.
Yeah, you were saying holidays?
Yeah, it's the worst time of year when you're homeless, that I would imagine, just because, like, as for me, I can't get on social media because it makes me sad seeing a bunch of people with their families and stuff, you know? And it's just me and my mom, and so I can only imagine for those that actually have extended families or larger families, and being out on the street. Like, 180 is nice, but like, before I hit 180, I was sleeping in like parking garages and stuff, and we talk about it, you know? There'll be people that are all whacked out on whatever their vice of choice is, and mainly during the holidays, man. It's vicious out on the streets because everybody's looking for that one thing that comforts them, and it's rarely anything they can find, so it's typically a substance or whatever makes them feel better at the moment, which could be, you know, hurting people or doing whatever, something crazy and getting them arrested, you know?
Yeah.
So every other part of the year is pretty fine, but the holidays are pretty rough,
Wow, that's interesting.
regardless of the weather, you know? Yeah.
What's the worst drug you've seen on the streets?
Man, I'm gonna say ice. I'm gonna say ice, and not just because, like, I've seen more people doing like heroin and stuff, but I've seen more people affected by ice in the long run, you know, and I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them have to deal with issues long past, even if they stopped, you know. Yeah, I know people that, like, you know, opioids, they can get like methadone and stuff like that, but ice and the stuff that people do on it seems to last a lot longer. It seems to separate them from their families more permanently than I've seen with opioids and stuff like that. And it's more readily available for the most part. So, yeah.
What do you think of shelters, just in general?
They're good. There just needs to be more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if there's more of them, I think more of the people that would seem to do wrong or want to do wrong would be more spread out. But with the lack of shelters, they're a lot more centralized, so it's not safe for people that aren't street smart, aren't street savvy.
Oh, to like be around them?
Yeah, they get eaten alive. Like, you know, the fresh homeless, like people that are used to having stuff and then end up homeless.
Yeah.
They come to a shelter and it's fine, but they get eaten alive by people that just think smarter than them.
Yeah.
You know, see you with something, like I said, a pack of cigarettes, like we talk about all the time. I came out here to smoke, you know, just quick glances at everything you have, and people that aren't accustomed to this life won't notice the signs, and they'll be too nice, give out too much, or just get taken advantage of in you know, hours flat, truly. And so if there was more shelters, I feel like they would have a better chance, you know?
What's the best shelter you've ever been to?
180.
180?
100%.
Why?
The staff, the people, and the atmosphere, because that's what really matters. The staff is really nice. Most shelters you go to, they speak down to you. They look at everybody the same. You know what I mean? It's just like being in prison. Here at 180, they actually talk to you like you're a person. Like, hey, like, how's it going? You know? And they have this nice buzzing system, which is pretty safe, way safer than any of the others, you know?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, stuff goes down at shelters, so the fact that they have just that right there, that's buzzing system in the front and the back, makes everything a lot more safe, and it makes people going in there more aware. They're less likely to do things in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the atmosphere, they keep it clean, and when things get too rowdy, they bring it down to where it should be without speaking down to people. They just let them know what the rules are, and hey, you can either leave or you can get with it, and that's fair, you know? And they rarely tell you to leave. They always work with the people. I've seen them kick 2 people out. It was because they really deserved it.
Really?
Really.
What'd they do?
One was trying to fight Pops.
Really?
Correct. He's got a respiratory issue, and you know, he coughs sometimes. And this guy made a big stink about him coughing, not understanding, just right off the rip, was talking stuff to him. And then he continued it outside. Pops and I were standing inside. I wasn't immediately, you know, there at the time. And then he came back like drunk, still complaining about stuff, and the great guy Nathan up here tried to give him a chance, you know, sent him off on his bike again, just, hey, don't, you know, bring any of that stuff to the lobby. And then he came back later, started something else, and one of the other guys, JR, had to have him escorted away.
He chased me with his cane, with his crutches, tried to beat me with his crutches.
Yeah, he did try to beat Pops with his crutch. Correct, and that's what I mean. That guy, he had a very hurt leg, and even he was trying to beat up on Pops. You know, so imagine somebody like 15, 16, newly homeless, going to a shelter like that. He's gonna get eaten alive. Sorry.
Nah, that's a good story.
What's up, bub? Yeah, in a minute. Yeah.
Who's the most interesting, the meanest, or the saddest person you've met on the streets?
All right, I have to do 2.
Okay.
Just out of respect, right? So Pops, he's definitely the person with the most knowledge that I've met. If people actually listen, you know, both he and I look very different from a lot of the people that are here. What's up, dude? Mellow. Yeah, we look very different from the people here, and people are apt to talk to us a bit differently. You know what I mean? So he's definitely the wealth of knowledge. The most interesting person I've met is a fellow named Memo, who stays down at Marion Square. Or he stays around, but he works down at Marion Square. He creates art. You know, he sits and he draws different people. I have to see him soon. He said he would draw something for me. He's about 60, from Puerto Rico, and he looks just like Pops. He looks, you know, looks white, you know. But he's from Puerto Rico, and he's the coolest guy ever. He's got a lot of stories. So Pops has a wealth of knowledge, and Memo has a wealth of interesting stories that will keep you warm at night when you're thinking about him, you know? Just like cool stuff. Yeah, dude.
So what's your story? How'd you end up out here?
Oh, man. So like 2016, I think it was, my mom got sick. Well, yeah, she started to get sick. And she went to a free clinic, and they told her that she should like go to the hospital and stuff. Anyway, she was in MUSC for like a couple months before they realized it was cancer, you know? And so the whole time that my mom was in the hospital, I was running back and forth, handling things, paying bills out of her account. I had a little bit of money, but I didn't know she didn't have savings, you know what I mean? It's not something that is really talked about too much in black families, let alone just a mom and her son,
Yeah,
you know?
especially when you're a kid.
Correct. Finances were never a thing that were brought up. And yeah, so we got evicted, and then I got us to stay, you know, I'm a very amiable person. I like people. I got us to, I let a friend of mine let us move in. And then I just was moving my mom and I around from place to place. And yeah, 2 years, 3 years later, got basically nothing. I got all of her stuff, and I have her staying with a friend, you know, and I'm out here coding, playing music, and working at this store so I can get a house for us, you know. But the past 2 years, I've just been staying on the street, really, couch surfing when I can. But I'd rather be out here with people like you and Pops and a man whose name I didn't get, but he already looks awesome. You know what I mean? I'd rather be doing this than couch surfing, dealing with people's stuff, dealing with their dramas. And so yeah, I ended up out here because my mom got cancer, and it took everything from us, man. It took freaking everything, and I've done everything to, you know, try to get us in a better place. And then I landed here at 180. It's too long?
No,
Too
man,
long?
hey, that's perfect.
Yeah, ended up here at 180, man. After seeing it online, I was working for a client, building a website real quick, and I saw an ad on Google, of all places, man. And looked up 180, signed up on the list on a whim, didn't think I would get in, and then they accepted me like last week. And I got a job the same day thanks to Pops. Just met Pops, talking to him, he's cool. Went and got me a job. I've been working open to close the past like 8 days in a row. And hopefully after this I can get a place and me and my mom can be together again, and I can like make music and code and stuff, you know?
So how's your mom doing?
She's doing well. It's actually in remission, so, you know, it's bittersweet because, yeah, my mom's better now, but I can't be around her too much because I got to get us a place, you know? So it sucks, but stuff like this makes it better.
My mom just got through cancer as well.
Yeah, dude.
6 months ago.
Dude, awesome.
It's a good feeling, but it's a journey.
It is, man, for real, dude. And yeah, that shit sucks, dude. Cancer sucks. But yeah, man.
What have you learned on the street that people might not know who don't live on the street?
There's always somewhere to eat. There's always somewhere to eat, at least here in Charleston. Being homeless in a lot of other places, like I've traveled a lot on trains and with people and stuff, you know, walked me and this guitar right here. Me and this guitar have been basically through all the 50 states. Not everywhere has somewhere to eat, but there is always at least one place, you know. I guess asking goes a long way, you know. It's typically for food, but just asking for help goes a long way. And if you need food, really just ask. You might get a couple no's, but you'll find food. And it'll usually come from someone homeless, you know? You're never gonna find like that really nice person on the street to help you out. It's always another homeless person that sees you like them. There's a feel, there's a look, you know what I mean? And like, hey man, what are you looking for out here? You know, you're looking for drugs, you're looking for somewhere to stay, you're looking for some food or something, somewhere to stash some shit. So just ask. Just ask, man.
I think you already answered this one, but
It's cool.
how do you make money? Yeah, how do you make money, really?
Playing my instrument, and then building websites and stuff. Affiliate marketing, really. That's like my main niche. Like, I can market anything, you know, which is what I do, basically. I have a website named mixwire.com, which I work on, and I interview people, not like this, but people that may not have the opportunity, people that make any type of music, that may not have the opportunity to be seen. I'll do it for free. I'll write, you know, 500-600 word articles, you know, in a minute, and then I'll publish it on a website because everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? And then I have packages that people can buy if they'd like to. So if I'm not down on some street playing, I'm in some coffee shop coding, you know? And if I'm not doing that, I'm just working, man. Really.
So you came here from California. Did you take a train?
Part of the way, a lot of it was hitchhiking. truckers are dangerous and cool at the same time, man. Let me put it that way. Yeah, you gotta find you gotta find the right ones, you know. I typically tend to stay in different places, and people that approach me, you know, usually at either like train stations or truck stops, man. And you'll usually find somebody else with the instrument. We'll jam a little. Hey, can I get a ride in whatever direction, bro? If not, it's cool. You know, it'll come back around. And that and Greyhound buses, man, those are really nice to catch.
Any like hitchhiking stories that strike you? That come to mind?
Yeah, Kentucky, man. Kentucky was crazy. I got off on the wrong train stop. I was talking to these, like, you know, the gutter punk types. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the dog and everything. You know, vest, gnarly fucking badge, patches and all that. And they told me to get off, and I got off like way too early. Ended up in the middle of Kentucky, like freaking like Banjo Town, you know. And it was a stereotypical. Got off of the train, walked through the woods a bit, hit a road, and was just walking. And I was playing, and this guy picked me up in a pickup truck. You know,
Hey guys, unfortunately, the rest of that interview got cut off. Somehow, the footage got deleted. And I tried my best to find it. I looked everywhere for hours for it, and I can't understand what happened to that footage. It really sucks. I really felt like I'd captured some magic. I really wanted to share it with you guys. But I'll tell you what happened. There was about 9 minutes left to that interview. Mellow describes how he's on this train in Kentucky, and he gets off the train too early. And he goes into this bar, and he enters the bar, and it's an absolute mic drop. I mean, you're talking about a black kid who is train hopping across America, and he's in this like all white town. You know, he doesn't have much money, and then he just feels really uncomfortable. So he goes into this bar, and there's just an absolute mic drop. He doesn't feel super comfortable talking to people, but he sees this group of musicians on stage, and they're playing music, and he goes up to him, he starts talking to him, and he whips out his like guitar or something, and they start playing together, and the guys bond over music. And he becomes friends with these guys. They hang out for like 30 minutes or an hour. And then he asks one of them if he can give him like a lift out of town because he's kind of stuck here. And the guy gives him a lift. And that's kind of how he gets out of this rural town. And it was a really cool story. I really enjoyed it. And I wish you guys could have heard it from Mellow himself as opposed to hearing it from me. He's obviously a really uplifting guy. And you know, he's definitely one of the guys who's homeless by force. He's not a guy who has drug problems or whatnot. You know, he's been trying to pay his mom's cancer bills that put him on the street. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. The next interview is with a guy named Pops, who is a friend of Mellow's. He's an old guy. He's like looks like Albert Einstein. Yeah, he has a cool interview. A nice guy. It's interesting to see kind of older people's perspectives on homelessness. But he struggles with heroin addiction, and he's been clean for like 90 days or whatnot. And then after that, behind the scenes for you guys, me, Pops, Mellow, and I all went out to lunch. I took him out to like Five Guys, and we just grabbed burgers and just had a lot of fun, like shooting the shit. They're actually really fun guys to hang out with. Anyway, sorry you guys couldn't hear the first person account from Mellow, but hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the interview.